Migrating your data from Desk to Service Cloud has never been easier. Included within your trial org are two data migration tools, pre-installed and configured. The first is the Desk Case Migration tool. This tool migrates your Desk cases and everything related to your cases, including interactions, notes, attachments, customers, companies, users, and groups. The next tool is called the Desk Article Migration tool, and this migrates your knowledge base related data, including topics, articles, article attachments, article embedded images, and so forth. So let's get started with the Desk Case Migration tool. At the top, you'll want to click into Migration Wizard. On this step, we're just kind of giving an introduction to the tool. We link out to our documentation. I highly recommend opening this in a new tab so you can reference it as you go. We also do a pre-flight check to be sure you have the appropriate permissions and settings. Because this tool comes pre-installed with your trial org, you're already configured and ready to go. So let's click Continue at the bottom right. On this step, we're connecting to the Desk API. So to do so, you can actually reference the documentation for this tool to go through these steps. You can also reference this help article. You just need to get a few keys and tokens from the Desk side and plug them in on this screen. So let's do that now. Next up is the metadata overview page. Now there's no actual inputs on this page, so you can just click through and see what type of metadata you're importing and just click Continue at the bottom right. Okay, we're now ready to migrate your data from Desk to Service Cloud. On the left-hand side, you'll see all the objects that we are migrating over: users, group members, accounts, contacts, cases, notes, interactions, and attachments. Now you want to import these in order, starting with users all the way down to attachments. So we'll first click into users, and then for profile, we can select the default profile we want for these users as they come over. I'm going to select standard user and click Start Migration. It may take a few seconds for this migration records section to pop up. Once it does, you'll see it has a status. My status is currently queued. And it's just a matter of waiting for this to actually complete. So let's give it a few seconds. All right, complete. There are 4 records migrated, so 4 users, and there are 0 users that failed to migrate. So now that users is complete, we can move on to the next step, which is group members. There's no inputs on the screen, so let's click Start Migration right away to get it rolling. All right, complete. There were 8 group members migrated and 0 failed. Let's move on to accounts. For data set, we're selecting all data. For record type, Desk.com migrated companies, and click Start Migration. All right, the status is queued, so we'll give it some more time. So far, we've migrated users, group members, and we're in the process of migrating over accounts, which in Desk are companies. All right, complete. 6 were migrated and 0 failed. Let's move on to contacts. Dataset, all data, record type, Desk.com migrated customers, and Start Migration. All right, complete. 8 records migrated over and 0 failed. Let's move on to cases. Dataset, all data, record type, Desk.com migrated cases, Start Migration. All right, complete. 12 records were migrated. Let's move over to notes. Dataset, all data, Start Migration. Okay, complete. Interactions is up next. We'll migrate all data. Okay, complete. There were 29 records migrated and 0 failed. Next up is attachments. Start migration. All right, complete. So we've finished migrating over all of our case-related data, including users, groups, accounts, contacts, cases, notes, interactions, and attachments. Next up is to migrate our knowledge-based data, which we'll use that second tool for. But before we do that, there's one setup step to make. So let's click the gear icon at the top right and then Setup. And in the Quick Find area, type in Apex Settings and click into that. And ensure that this checkbox is checked. The checkbox is called Deploy Metadata from Non-Certified Package Versions via Apex. So we'll click check there and click save. Now we can close this setup tab and go to the app launcher and launch the Desk Article Migration tool. Similar to the other tool, there's a documentation link, which I highly recommend opening in a new tab to reference, and there's also the pre-flight check. Let's click continue at the bottom right to get started. So the first step is again connecting to the Desk API. Now this tool makes the process a little bit simpler. You just need to type in your desk.com site URL and the tool will take care of the rest. So let's do that now. You can see that I typed in the full address including https:// and then my desk URL here. Let's click authorize desk. You will likely get a few pop-up messages during this. One of them says redirect and one of them says navigate to page. Click open and Desk will prompt you to either sign in and then grant access, or if you're already signed in, you just grant access. So let's do that. And it takes you back to the tool and you're ready to go. So on this step, we're actually mapping fields. So step one says, do you want to migrate topics? So I recommend migrating topics. This will ensure that all of your desk configured topics come over as data categories in Service Cloud. For step two, you can select a layout. I'm going to select the knowledge layout. And what this does is for every field that I'm mapping over, it'll make sure that it appears in Service Cloud so I can view it and edit it and so forth. So now we're going to actually select which fields we want to migrate over. Now subject will obviously map to title. Body can map to body. In Support Center, I recommend mapping it to visible in public knowledge base. This way, if you decide later to use communities for your knowledge base, you'll have the desk setting migrated over for whether or not it's public or hidden. These other fields are less important, but you might want to migrate them over. For each of them, you're able to actually create a new field to migrate the data into. But for this demo, I'm just going to do these top three fields. So I'm going to click Start Migration. All right, migration status is running. All right, and that's it. We just migrated over our topics, our article images, and article attachments. Be sure to check out support.desk.com for more information about our migration tools. You can also find a few guides there that might be helpful, including how to get your articles live in communities. Thanks.